Not much for them. I think you are first inside the temple. Presided over the Great Hall. The photographer said we're going to look at small towns. At the endless barbarian frontier, I was surprised to see the photographer. The reason is also surprising. Ask the photographer if you can go alone. You don't need anyone to follow. Just go out. Feng Min will definitely take action immediately. Self-confident photographer answer no SAO. Don't forget, we already have a solar system at the top. Plus the blood barrier. Even if you hit the fake scenery, it can also be matched once. Even if you fight, you can escape. She's still a little worried about the photographer. But I feel so determined. Just ask a few questions. You must be careful. Don't worry, it's just a small pin. It's not a particularly dangerous place. 6 adventurers also said it's best to be able to fool a fake dragon. Like that, our power can be greatly increased. Told me to find the way first. You can recruit people from the Celestial Kingdom. Not still a problem. Recruitment story fake Power Angel Clan. It's not that simple. Because it's time to choose their employer. We'll be extremely cautious. If you feel unreliable, it's not easy to sign a contract. The next reason is the price. Or we can all go back to them. Luggage is reasonable to say. Let the photographer find the way first. After closing, the bugs have finished talking. Happy to say that, let's go. And just keep moving forward. 3 steps. The photographer didn't notice he'd hit something in the face. It's elastic, so fast that the photographer shoots back. Unconsciously grabs that AI's arm to hold on. It's time to open your eyes. There's a girl in front of you. Now the air around. They all became embarrassed. The people behind me are also pictured. This girl is amazing. I can't breathe because of the VA touch. That the 2 balls in front of the girl are endlessly elastic. Make all the people in the back turn away with hot eyes. I am trying to ask you why you are here. This girl is Long, and she blames the photographer. Master didn't send anyone to talk to me. I was surprised that Long Vu was shocked. Is this still a tiger? 6. Stand there, softened the dragon dance voice. Photographer replied, I just got back, so I can't tell you. Long Yu Yan asked the master, who is now about to go out SAO. She asked the photographer a question that embarrassed her 9 faces. The photographer said we have to go somewhere. Long Yu Sound finished listening. I asked Theo, can I come with you? The photographer said we're just going out on a trip. I'll be back soon. I'll be alone. Hear that Long Vu Feng Feng. The photographer is serious. Even the teacher doesn't listen to you. Long Dance must listen too. Yes, Master continued. During this time period, Long Libra gave it to you. Most of his movements. You need to pay attention. I can feel it. Long has a relationship with God. Maybe even a man of God's will. However, there is still no definitive evidence. Long Yu Sound immediately startled. Long Yu Yin said to me, I will send someone to follow Long Thien Min. The photographer replied, just follow him. There's no movement required. They are all waiting for me to come back and understand. Take what the photographer says. Let's go first. They all waved goodbye to the photographer. Wind photographer soared to the sky. Hand cover face change appearance. At this time in the temple, there are countless false powers gathered. There's a lot of movement here. Photographer landing with different interface. Walk up to the fake powers talking. A tall man stops you. I've never seen you before. It's a solution, right? The photographer seemed worried. The Kier is joking. There are so many disciples in heaven. I think the whole world can all know. I've obviously never met this guy before. He heard the photographer say that. Give the photographer a punch. What do you say, boy? Hurry to tell the police. We find a place to talk. This guy doesn't understand what the photographer's up to, but also obey. To a corner where the photographer took out some spirit stones. This is a little bit of kindness, please. CA, please take it. My long journey. It is because of the false honor of the SAO. Great CA raised high whipped. This guy's going to open his mouth. But the photographer quickly caught his hand. He's feeling the force of gravity from the photographer. The power of God comes from his hands. It must be the sixth heaven. It's not under me. Look at his breath. It's clear that the celestial sphere, based only on this ability to hide the breath. Absolutely not a mediocre person. And this guy said, if you are a false prophet, then you can go. If that's the case, then we're in California. Then this guy waved his hand at his subordinates. Tell him to pass. The photographer passed by and thought, these fake powers have moved the scene. They've all been dissolved just now. I used the force of gravity to contact him. Their breath. It is clear that the cultivation method of the Dragon Seal family. They are the people of Long Thien Min. I don't know why Long Thien Min. Since when have we worked together? But it seems that Ra started working very early. Long Thien Min helped try to Lam was killed. Poison. Long Thien Min absolutely did not escape from impatience. Try to be punished. Equivalent to Long Thien Min. He lost a hand. Unexpected. He directly pushed the wind up in front of the stage. The wind is not the same as the wind. There are only a few elders in the background. Chief Sui. There is also an elder. They are all on the side of the old man. It was only after Lam was poisoned. New reluctance to try hang. The master is the son of the master. Inflammation of the world. It is not as good as luggage. Reputation is only in the background is not equal. He is the heir to the house. It is harder to deal with than trying. Many want to pull the wind down. Unless, first of all, let his father step down from his position as head of household. Or that the benders are guilty of sin. It makes it hard to forgive. Long Chan herself, the choice to push the wind forward. To crush us. It can be said to be very beneficial, no matter how big our power is. It is very difficult to bring the wind down. The law, if you suffer. His father will definitely act. It's annoying. Long Thien Min finished thinking. The photographer continued to survey here. Long Yu Yan went to the temple. Landing on Long Vu Yin proudly. Master has won the heavenly to pursue his soul. No matter how far you run. I can all find it. All of a sudden, some of you went out and blocked Long Wayan Road. Hey, 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 your right arm is standing. Long Yu glared up at one. The guys were panicking, waiting for her. Long Yu Yin shouted angrily, even we dare to stop things without eyes. Then behind Long Yu Yin appeared two people. These two people rushed in at the same time. These guys are afraid of dropping the hose. I just realized she's a dragon warrior. Very quickly after that, these roadblocks have been fertilized to inundate their faces. Cry out relentlessly. Others see it and are afraid of it. They talk to each other. They say the gods move. This scene of Li Bingfeng is absolutely unfathomable. Haha, it is a pity to meet more unruly people. They encountered the dragon ball again. The wicked must let the wicked rule. Just moments after the fake power block. Long Yu Yin has turned up. On the ground in Dragon, Yu Yan's subordinates rushed to. The lady tried to go that way. Long Huayan just chilled one and ordered to go. The two of them launched the raft. Half an hour later, the world is created. Long Yu Yan went down to a forest. Long Vu sound exclaims the smell of heaven's soul pursuit. Go to this place and disappear. Female subordinates, here judge. Maybe she discovered it on me. There is a soul searching. Long Yu silently thought, with the sharp touch of the photographer. Maybe I'll know soon enough. Then he said firmly, we must find him. The two Kier followers also agreed. Then they soared up to the sky. After a while, he was with his followers, chasing Long Yu Yin to this forest. Li Bingfeng suspected. The servant asked Long Vu Yin and two Kier ladies go this way Sao. A subordinate replied, I just met some people who stopped here for a moment. Later, I saw it go that way. Li Feng said to go to Kier. I don't know what you're going to do. Another subordinate voiced this. Don't worry about the wind. The witnesses will let us deal with it. We need to get back to the front door. Goodbye, young master. End words. The two of them soared into the sky to find the Dragon Ball. The wind from them is strong to the point of causing others to fall. What kind of background do the two of you have? Don't want to answer. He said, is this what you should ask? He realized he was about to lose his only life. Then he bowed his head and begged the young man to forgive me. Many things. It is not hard to say, stand up. There are some things you shouldn't ask, don't ask. He secretly thought, like the fake Long Tao, normal scenes are more than enough to stand in the elders, or worshipped in the family. He is also the likely heir to the first family. Master of his strongest subordinates. There is only one scene, and his subordinates have two. Road, that is why it is considered by others as loving. I use it, but I need his power. It's not really fun. I don't know Long Thien Min how to prepare to deal with the dragonflies. I just finished one. When he ordered us to leave, yes. Moving on to the wild frontier. The photographer has landed. Thousands of years ago, heaven and earth, always locked up in this lowest world. Difficult life on the endless flower. Ancestors of the celestial god. Used to be a fake equal to winning the emperor. But in the end, he lost. Oppressed by the holy emperor inside the endless wilderness. All of his descendants, forever sealed in this land. Now angel race from a great race. There are more than 10 million people, eventually slowly decaying to the point. There are only a few million left. There are no resources here. There are only a few of them. They all became slaves, in exchange for some spiritual stones. Go out and buy some food to feed the people. But the most beloved in the celestial kingdom, it's also a long shot. The price is at least 300,000 spirit stones. Otherwise, it doesn't exist here. This guy's busy talking about what the photographer knows. I know in a boring way. This guy asked the photographer, what did you hear? The doctor replied that some people do not know why. This fake guy added, the Lord of Heaven's armies. It was established by the Holy Emperor Ra, the Queen of Heaven. There's no way to break my master's contract. So their people once became servants. Will have to be absolutely submissive, even if you let him die. He won't have a frown either. It's because of this moment. Slaves of the celestial gods. Nu is especially appreciated. He looked around for a while and said he was sick. Are all long-distance scenes SAO enhanced answer. There's no food here. Even a slave can sell 30,000 spirit stones. But food comes from everywhere. The price in the sky. The people of God's kingdom. I can only barter for some food. Just make sure it's warm. Speaking of which, he turned. I don't know when the gun disappeared. The photographer is going for a wild walk right now. He thinks in his mind that there are traders nearby. Maybe there are traders. Do business with the gods. Suddenly on the other side, there was a noise. Captured the curiosity of the photographer. He wondered what the noise was. Let's get some heat, and he hurries over there. I just saw a bunch of people making noise. There are angels. You're arguing about something. A fat guy must be a businessman, he said. Your conditions. We can't agree. We've traded so many times before. It is based on VI. You don't sell that. Don't waste our time. Someone else said, we are the golden tribe of the celestial tribe. Our people. They're all the best soldiers of the celestial gods. These people are all young teenagers. The most elite of the celestial tribe. You can't decide the price in front of you. These celestial beings. It's really obnoxious. 3,000 spirit stones a person is not even in love with SAO. It's true that if you follow a habit like that. Later, they sold slaves to the gods. The price will only be more expensive. That's right, even though SAO's slaves are the most identical. It's all so much. It's not that AI can be arbitrary. You can't take out 30,000 spirit stones. Li knew the situation and thought. Used to be the strongest fighting nation. The whole world. Now we're in such a situation. For the money of his people. But painted to the point with a glorious red face before. Giant empire. To this day has declined to this point. Soon they were no longer as glorious as they once were. God's people for opposing God's people. But suffer the scourge. Now they don't have the respect of other people. Just sign for an hour. To seal off endless space. I want to train all of them. The people inside the Dragon Kingdom, they are always fighting each other. This side, a man asked two Kier businessmen what their background was. One of them said that he was a member of the Long Association. They've got more than half the trading volume. Slave saw the middle-aged horse-faced Kier. He is not the vice president of the Long Company. The man of heaven. I want to do that with them. It's basically impossible. Small towns where the border is here. Normal people, they do not want to be guilty of the Long War. I can hear you thinking, well. Have a chance. You can buy and sell the fake power of the celestial gods. The celestial youth of the Kier tribe. It was the longest film. And it doesn't look bad. People are coming here to talk more and more. Everyone Chen jostled and pushed each other. The guys kept arguing. Lam Bashu, I just want to get a fair price. That's it, these teenagers. They're all geniuses of our tribe. If our tribe hadn't fallen into this trap, we absolutely will not let them. Become a slave. Kier businessman says fair price. We've all come up with the most reasonable price. He is still old. If someone else charges more than us, you can sell them. That's my partner here. I'm tired of hearing them talk back and forth. The Kier businessmen are still shouting at each other loudly. Neither side loses to the other. The people standing outside, they can't help but sell to each other. One name says too, they also don't want to be guilty of a crime. Maybe it's because the dragon slaves are the same. The two looked around for a moment. And the guy in the hood, the head of the Long Association, said so. Surely no one dares to bid and do what now? Suddenly, a voice spoke. I bid 50,000 spirit stones. That voice is the photographer. He said more. 5,000 spirit stones. We all buy as much as a person has. The bold words of the photographer. It surprised everyone there with their mouths open. Scream? The name of the merchant of the long trade. Your face is dark. The keepers. The team-level long director, most similar Kier. Listen to the price you pay. I immediately froze people a little. Then the spirits talked to each other. 50,000 is better than 30,000. The photographer glanced at those teenagers. Then I thought, a total of later. The teenager looks uninspired. But the breath on you is strong. Think for a while. The photographer said this is 300,000 spirit stones, and threw the space ring in spirit stone towards the Kier traders. A man rushed to grab it. Then the traders looked at each other and nodded happily. And then a guy brings the contract out. They said this is their employer's contract. The photographer saw that, but never before. The old Kier businessman said in a heavy voice, Hey, this brother. It's not good for you to do that. He withdrew his words. A group of retainers behind them rushed towards the regent that Ra. The photographer thought. Bring along at least the Dragon Master Scene 3 identical. People who talk about the outside talk about the skin. This sky carpet, and dare to steal. Under the eyes of the Long. They are really looking for death themselves. Another name added. He didn't come from the countryside, so don't know. Long trade in this border area is the Sao hegemony. It is said that it nurtured hundreds of fake dragons. Unless the fake guy comes here. Please forgive this boy. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to escape death. Running in this world. People who don't know often die tragically. Then the Kier businessman raised two fingers. Order the subordinates to come up and surround the glass. The people standing there laughed. The photographer here is silent and says nothing. This merchant started threatening at the endless frontier. This wild man, the majesty of the long trade union, we can't let others provoke us. Your son is. What words to say no? After he finished speaking, he silently evaluated the photographer. This VI can be so calm. I'm afraid there is a foundation. Take out one hand and throw out 300,000 spirit stones. I'm afraid his condition is not simple. Then he turned to look at his teammates. But the Long Company is here. It's not easy to start a war. Otherwise, there will be no more Europe. Just finished. He ordered his subordinates to arrest the regent first. The bystanders are worried about replacing Regalia. This kid is finally smart. Or stupid. The shadow of the Kier merchants' retainers. It's big. The retreat is getting closer. Even now, your face is still unfeeling. There was a smile on her face. Then suddenly, he bent down. Look sorry. Say sorry. I don't know. The Long Association is in charge of this. It's actually a bit rude. I'm here to apologize. The photographer said an act. Let the whole business get a picture. Make them mad, this kid. Then the merchant thought. Sorry, it is useless to steal people from inside. My hands. But he hasn't signed the 6 Kier contracts yet. While the European merchant was silent, the subordinates are frantically cursing a battle. Sorry, what's the use? What else do you want to say? Say no, you will die. The photographer is not afraid to respond. The reputation of the Long Association is like thunder in the ears. Don't know how to do. Will the president agree to do business with us or not? Listen to what the photographer said. The Kier merchant was a little bit surprised, then laughed and mocked the photographer. Ha ha, business is funny. If you think so, there's something funny about this. I come from this frontier land. It's because of the Long Association. Long Trade Association will not refuse a sincere guest. Come here to do business like that. Li was so serious. The merchant in his heart. This name, do you really want to do business with us? If you can really make money. Think about here. The merchant glanced at his servant. The man seemed to understand what he meant. Go to the photographer and ask. Kid, based on who also wants to trade with us, SAO. Photographer, answer with a question. A business has come to the door. Long association means there is a moral not to do. It's just 6 teenagers. The Lord of Heaven must let me hear it in my heart. Long Trade Association hold the entire business of endless savages. Not because of this. That's why big customers refuse. If that's the case, it also makes me look down a little bit on the president. And heard the arrogant regent say that. The subordinates of the Long Chamber of Commerce roared with blood. What do you mean? And this businessman seems to have understood what the photographer meant. Tell the subordinates. Please wait a moment. You're out. 6 teenage angels. If sold elsewhere. At least 50,000 spirit stones or more. I dare say it was only after adolescence. The air is too big. I heard the merchant say that. The letter came back. Yes, he continued. I don't know if this little brother especially came here. I want to be with the Long Company. What do we do? The photographer raised 2 fingers. It's not a big deal. I just want to invite you to the Long Festival instead. Say hello to 200 fake gods. They heard the number for a moment. People are talking about 200 people. Even if a person is 300,000, they get 203,000. The merchant thought, 200 people, a total of 6 million. He asked the photographer, my brother is not kidding me. What is the use of joking? The merchant said, brother just opened his mouth. I asked 200 slaves, how can I trust you? Then the photographer took the ring from his pocket. Space containing spirit stones. Throw it at the Kier merchant. He said this is a deposit of 500,000 spirit stones. The merchant caught a surprise of 500,000 SAO. The subordinates are amazed. The merchant thought, dare to come alone to this land. Once out of hand, take out 50,000 spirit stones as a deposit. Look, it's not simple to come from. He told the photographer. I don't know what kind of background this guy has. He secretly thought, if there's a $600 million business. These slaves are not worth mentioning. The photographer replied. The mayor doesn't need to ask. Even if you know about the club. The chief is afraid of not being good. The merchant's name is difficult to understand. Later, he said, haha, I'm just asking a little casually. If you want to cooperate with Long's company. That means us. We are, of course, warmly welcomed. Then he confirmed. The prince said, you need to buy 200 fake gods. I don't know if this word is true. The photographer has a little push. Let's see how the president's will is. Traded before. I took out 500,000 spirit stones. This time 50,000 stones. I don't know, chief. You can get it for me. How many fake gods are there? Listen to Li here. Lin Hall's face changed. Then he looked at the angels. He's bowing his head and coughing. I saw the angels in the sky. The contract before they gave it. And say your slave contract is here. The slaves raised their faces but still looked uneasy. I can assure you of that. If you want to go with, I will definitely not abuse you. If you don't want to follow me, you can come back. He continued to talk about the spirit stones. As if I gave you my head. I feel so generous. They looked at each other in surprise and forced them to kneel down and say, "Thank you, guys. God, we value integrity. Once you decide to follow, it will definitely be full force. They are committed. Any human race, any celestial race. I will not break my promise." The photographer heard that and said, "Love your heart. These 6 teenagers delivered to the hand. I will definitely not abuse them." A slave hurriedly said thank you. How many years ago, our people have been treated by others like a pig, like a dog. No one has ever promised that. He said he was crying. The photographer also sighed for an hour. Done, confirmed. Later, follow me. It only takes 2 years. 2 years if you don't want to follow me. You can leave at any time. Finished talking, I deeply bit my finger until I was bleeding. Then he used his blood to sign the contract. He thinks his own soul seems to be connected to them. This is the soul contract. Once motivated, you can kill these teenagers at will. The slave contract is so strong. God of heaven. Once out of the endless wilderness, most of the time it doesn't end well. The president's name is over here. See the action of the photographer like that. I think it's really generous. He's over again. These 6 boys have fallen into his hands. I didn't earn anything either. But it can only be ignored. You can't lose this big customer. There was a gun ready just now. Was killed. I don't think this young man has a lot of talent. In such a short time, let us make the president angry with me. That much money, maybe not. At this time, a man came running. Notice the president. The president finished listening. Tell the photographer, 10 clans of the gods. Long director scene 2. There are absolutely no weak old people. The first time our trade. I don't know if the man is satisfied or not. The president continued. 10 clans of the gods. Long director scene 2. Is the man satisfied? The photographer replied, yes, there will be other businesses in the future. I hope the mayor gives more attention. The merchant was pleased to hear that. It's a matter of course. Both parties completed the transaction. AI is also satisfied. Now this wild frontier scene. There's only laughter left. It happened 7 days later at the beach. The photographer just landed where he breathed a sigh of relief. It's finally signed. The photographer has collected all the fake powers. He bought it in 1,000 Li Sun heap. He meticulously counted the number of 360 people. Long Da scene 5 coincides with 2 people, about 6 people. There are 50 people. The photographer thought, they are endless. The wilderness is a place where there is a fragile celestial force. You can still break through to the big screen. Was inside thousands of Li Sun, Ha-Tu. The 6th spirit is bound to grow stronger and stronger. Maybe it's about martial arts. If not under that situation, God will not be seriously injured. In spite of everything that seals the celestial family. Finished thinking, I deeply rubbed my hands back to their original appearance. I see a couple of people with other faces. It's amazing. Then she looked at a guy who asked her, young man, what is your name? The boy replied to my master. It's called Van Kai, stunned by the name. And then the eyes were drawn to the shape on the teenager's neck. He gave the boy a soft touch, embarrassing him. Let people take a turn. Then the photographer said, you are the God of heaven. SAO, appropriate method to cultivate the non-Vu God, decided. Try to decide which one you want to practice. I heard about these two strange methods. Guillotine is a determined racer. Real pure heat SAO. Then someone else tapped me on the shoulder. The boy did not even thank the owner. The rest of you, I heard the photographer say that. Then talk about Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball. They are all one of the most powerful tools of the celestial gods, we others say. But these two sets of methods have been transmitted 7 times. You can practice any one of the two. It's all because of that person's enormous creativity. The boy is now enlightened. He understood, but he was also confused. Kneel down with the photographer. I don't know. Glasses please the owner. The Lord saw that and said so. Let's practice the magic eclipse. Then the photographer bent down and took out the pen and paper to begin to re-examine a phony force. He's going through every little bit of it. It's done very quickly. Retreat to the end. I also found the right solution. For all fake strength. Only you. You are all appropriate to practice the divine eclipse. A whole day of photography has passed. By the time I arrived, I looked tired. He told the fake powers. Based on each person's physical condition. We've brought all the right tools. Teach them to you. Then he ordered the fake soldiers to stand up. They held the sutra carefully and read it, and talked to each other. After a while, a person with VI long S. Fake strength 5 high and Vu said, the owner has an unknown. I don't know if I should ask or not. The photographer happily agreed. If you don't understand, just ask the fakir. The years are long gone. Our nation soon ceased to glory before Kir. But 36 sets of gods. The God of heaven. Loss and defect. There is something on the owner's body. It's the whole God of heaven. This is why the photographer hesitated a little. He had a past life against God. Me, he really had the help of the gods. Not after that. All the gods were killed by God. Even the newborn child doesn't let go. After thinking about it, the photographer told the fake Kir that, because why do they have? You don't have to know either. You just need to know that. We and the gods have roots. It will not be difficult for you later. This false statement shows the owner. Give your followers a chance to see it. These lost gods appeared again under the sun. We're very grateful. As long as the owner has any instructions, we're going to go full speed ahead. Even if I die 1,000 times, I will not refuse. The photographer said, in addition to teaching you the laws of Ra, I also want to teach you a series of 7 battles transmitted long ago of the celestial gods. We need people who practice different gods of high decision. New can be used. It's called the Angel of Heaven. They heard that and were bewildered. The God of War. The Buddha enlightened. This celestial battle is divided into 3 talents. 6 mix 8 wild 10, excellent 36 killed. Which turns any 3 people into a group. Can outburst strategy on 5 times 6. Person, any combination. It can be more than 10 times more strategic. Just like that, this kind of battle. Even inside the temple of the celestial god. You also write very little. Fake people still look at each other. The photographer continued, in the heavens your gods. Those who practice the God of High will are few. Less and less. This battle, we need a lot of God-given talent. Cultivation of the God of High Decision can be implemented. You've never heard of it. There is this angel. It's not something weird. In short, you can start practicing. The celestial forces in this place are infinite. You will progress very quickly. The guards obeyed, and then shook hands. Cultivation is over. The photographer liked me. It's only 1 step away. There are many dragon servants like that.